How many of us actually take the time to inventory our PC? Well, because I just made a big move, I'm actually doing that now. So I want to share some of this information and a lot of the comic books that I found with you guys, because they started off high, but I've checked the market and they've come down considerably low. But they're still worth having in your PC. So go grab your Vibe Juice, come hang out with your boy, and let's do the things that we like to do. It's comic book time. And that means good vibes only. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Keep It Comics. This is going to be a real light and fluffy show. What I've done is I have started taking inventory of my private collection, and I found some books that I couldn't help but sit back and think that, wow, when these books were super hot, they went for X amount of money. But since then, those books have come down considerably. But nonetheless, they are still worthy of me having in my PC. So they're in no particular order. This is just me hanging out on a Saturday afternoon, doing the things that I love to do, and I wanted to share with you, the comic book community. There's some information involved, numbers, fair market value, go collect information, some cover price information, all good information that you may want to have while you're out there on the hunt, or while you yourself are taking inventory of your own personal collection. All right? So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Definitely ring the bell, because every time I do a video, it'll make sure that you guys get that notification. All right? So we're going to start this list off, and nothing in particular. Good vibes only, always. And I'm going to start by showing you some very impressive Todd McFarlane artwork. Now, this is some I call it popular copper, all right? And we're going to talk about Spider-Man issue number 1, and this is that silver variant by Todd McFarlane, all right? And I'm going to show these to you because I already have them in my PC, all right? And as I show them to you, I'll just share that information with you, all right? So now, the reason for this is because it's just a hot cover. This is some of Todd McFarlane's most impressive artwork. It was released back in 1990. There are 14,042 universal grades on the Go Collect census, right? Now, there's 30 10.0s on the census. So, you know, those are the hot books. There's 30 10.0s, there's 136 9.9s, and there's 9,083 9.8s. Okay? Now, so not a rare book by far, right? The golden egg in this book will be the 10.0s. $85 is the fair market value asking price for the 9.8 right now. All right? Now, this is a standout cover. It pops no matter what's going on with this book. It's going to always be hot. And as you can see right there, I have mine's actually is graded. I'm not graded, but it is signed by the great man himself, Mr. Stan Lee. Right? So, you know, I'm highlighting the silver book, but mine just happens to be signed by the great one. Now, back in December 17th of 2022, 10.0 sold for as much as $6,866. But like I said, you don't have to worry about that, because fair market value is saying that you can get your hands on a book like this for $85. Now, not the Stan Lee signed version, but you can definitely grab a silver variant for not a lot of money. So this is one of the books that I have in my collection. Always proud to have this book. Stands out no matter how you look at it. Very impressive. And Todd McFarlane is definitely one of the greats when it comes to doing this comic book thing, man. So I just wanted to share these books with you, just so you see, you know, how impressive these covers really are. All right? So that's that Todd McFarlane Spider-Man issue number 1. I'm going to set these over here so we don't hurt anything, right? I just want to make sure that they're nice and even. All right, the next book I want to show you. All right, so just so everybody knows, first off, I know we are all excited about the news. So if you're a true Doctor Doom fan, then check out Doctor Doom issue number 1. And this is the Salvador Larroca second print. Now check that out. How awesome is that? Let me get the glare out of your way, right? So this is the Doctor Doom issue number 1, second print by Salvador Larroca, right? An extremely confident depiction of Doctor Doom. And when I say extremely, I mean extremely confident Doctor Doom. And I love him for that, right? I love this cover. Rare book in high grade too. 33 9.8s on the census, right? Now that's in the top 78%. So definitely worth having in your collection. When this book first came out, it was pretty high on eBay, but it has come down since then. You can grab a 9.8 for as low as $160 according to Go Collect, fair market value. Now, but I'm seeing, just so you know, I am seeing asking prices, right, on eBay for, again with the glare, I'm seeing asking prices on eBay for as much as $475 for the 9.8. But, you know, I'm a fair market value type of guy, and that's pretty much how I maneuver on that secondary market. Fair market value says $160. All right, so just so you have a little bit more information as to what has been going on with this book. The yearly average high is $75. The 90-day average high is $475, and the 30-day average high is also $475. So this book is still very much worthy of having in your private collection. All right, so this Doctor Doom issue number 1, that second print, the Salvador Larroca, man, it's just such a magnificent cover, and definitely, excuse me, PC worthy, right? Because you can't go wrong with Doctor Doom, in my opinion, right? I love me some Doom. And then with the news that just got released, you know, of course, books are going to start going up in value, going up in price, because everybody's anticipating, you know, what story arc they're going to go by in the movies, and how are we going to see him depicted on the big screen after we've been waiting for him for so long, after the other crashes, you know, of the Fantastic Four presentations. And Doctor Doom wasn't portrayed all that well, you know, not to take nothing from the actors, and, you know, but the storylines weren't the greatest then, but everybody's excited about that. All right, so here we go. Here's another hot book I want to show you guys, right? And every time I see this book, and I just be like, wow, you know, this book I thought we would definitely see get optioned, and definitely see it come to fruition on the screen. One of the hottest books for 2019, right? So, and it was done by it was released by Boom Studios, and this is that Something That's Killing the Children issue number 1 by James Tynion in the fourth, right? Yeah, so this book was extremely hot when it first hit, right? James Tynion IV. This is the first Erica Slaughter. Now, at one time, this book went up as much as $1,500 for a CGC 9.8. So this book really got up there in value before it actually started cooling off and coming down. And, you know, the rarity of it being in a 9.8 is a reason why it was so high in value. But the more they sent books to CGC and they were coming back in 9.8s, it kind of decreased the value. But nonetheless, it's still a book worthy of having in your PC, right? There's a total of 3,073 universal grades on the census, with 2,132 of those being 9.8s. You can get you could possibly grab a raw copy of this book from anywhere from $350 $350 to $375 if you want to add this book to your collection. But this was a super hot book. The storyline was awesome. The title is what was grabbing everybody. Something is killing the children. And then when we read on the inside about Erica Slaughter and what her mission was, and then the monsters, the beings that were killing the kids, man, that just sent this whole story arc through the roof, man. Boom Studio really nailed it with that one. James Tynion, one of our prolific writers in the modern day age, he really did a good job with that book. So even though the price is coming down a lot, it has declined a lot, these are still books that are definitely worthy of still adding to your PC. All right, so I also ran across one of my DC favorites, right? So here's a DC favorite of mine. It was released in 2018. I wish they would have did more with this character, because when I was reading this particular story run, I was excited about this character and the team, right? So and then it just fell off the map. But Teen Titans issue number 20, the 1 in 25 George Jimenez variant, and this is that first appearance of Crush. Now, I was real excited about this character, right? I was following this character. I fell in love with her. I just wish they would have done more with her. I thought she had a great introduction to the Teen Titans team. In my opinion, nonetheless, this book is still worth adding to your PC, right? Because just a great character, great story. Possibilities are limitless with this particular character. The daughter of Lobo, right? So when you talk about characters, and you hear me rant all the time about, give us some new characters, even though this was a replica of an older character, right? But how they presented her was more believable than per se a Spider Boy or a Spider Bite. You know what I mean? Like, so this book she had a different feel to her. She felt genuine. She had her own personality. She wasn't like her father, Lobo. She had a different personality, and I just thought that this book would have did a lot better. But yeah, so and I grabbed this book when I paid for this book. I paid $60 for this book. And right now you can still grab a raw copy for about $60. There's 424 universal grades on the census. 312 of those are CGC 9.8, right? So not a super rare book, but still one that's PC worthy. I saw asking prices on eBay for about $270. They vary, for 9.8s, but roughly about $270. Raws were going for anywhere from $60 to $75. So even over time, this book is still maintained and held its value, right? So it is declined in value, but not much, right? Which is excellent, right? So Teen Titans issue number 20, the first appearance of Crush. This is the design variant. Definitely one checking out if you're interested. All right. And if you guys know, if this is your first time stopping by, checking out the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps us out a lot. If you like this type of content, leave a comment down below and I'll do more like this. You also know that I do a top 10 list during the week, but this is something a little light and fluffy. I'm not going to have all the statistics going up on the screen. This is just me going through my book. I took some information down as to where my book was. I see where it is now and the possibilities of where it might go, and just thought I wanted to share that with you guys, the comic book community. And I love keeping a nice mug around me too, just to show the good vibes. Right? I got my vibe juice. I'm happy. I'm surrounded by happy people. I just want to share the love, man. Good vibes only. And we always keep it comics. You already know. All right? Now, here's another book. Another low-key book that's PC worthy. All right? Now, it took me some time, and I was thinking, when did this book come out? So as I started looking for the information, it was revealed that this book was released in 1970. But it's one of those iconic covers to where you're like, this could be something, right? So I would love to see this play out on the screen as well. And I'm talking about Silver Surfer, issue number 14. And this is that battle between Spider-Man and the Silver Surfer. Uh-oh, almost dropped my baby. Don't want to do that. Right? Iconic battle between Spidey and the Silver Surfer. Now, stories by Stan Lee, interior art by John Basim, right? And the cover art is by Jack Kirby. Classic Kirby cover art. And you can't go wrong with this. So I'm really, really excited about having this book in my PC. And I watched the prices on eBay with this particular book for the past year or so. Anywhere between $25 to $85 for raw copies on eBay, which is reasonable in my opinion, right? There's 12 9.8s on the Go Collect census. So in my opinion, that's a pretty rare book for a 9.8 to get your hands on with this particular type of status, right? This book has a certain status within the comic book community. So, mind you, fair market value, although pretty high, it makes sense because there's only 12 on the census, right? Fair market value for the CGC 9.8 at the moment is $9,000, right? So, and I can see why that is. Now, I don't know if this book that I have in my hand is a 9.8. I actually don't know, but it is a great copy, you know, very well kept. I keep my books. I do my best to keep my books up to date. It could definitely use a pressing, right? Cleaning the press, but, you know, even though it has declined, it's still PC worthy, and I'm glad I was able to get myself one before the books skyrocketed. And here's some more true facts, you know. So for this particular book, I haven't noted that I paid $195 for this book. Yeah, so I'm all right with that. I paid $195 for that book. Yeah, Spider-Man and the Surfer battle, right? Silver Surfer, issue number 14. Definitely a good book to have. All right. Let me move it. I don't want to hurt it. And here's something else I'll do too. Since how I'm just hanging out and, you know, this is light work for us. Light work for you. A lot of work for me. Light work for you, right? I also have a lot of my short boxes pulled out. So I will share some comic books from my collection. I'll dig and I'll find some more beautiful covers and possibly some good stories that I was reading, and I'll share those with you as well on the fly. All right. So now, here's a book that that I hope takes off again. Right. When this book came out, everybody was going crazy over this book. There were a lot of variances that were hot. This book spiked all around the world, and it increased in value fast. You know, so I really hope it takes off again because it has declined considerably, but it's definitely still PC worthy, right? And I'm talking about Venom, issue number 3, and this is the first appearance of Null. This is by Donny Cates and Ryan Steadman, right? Yes, we're all familiar with this cover. This too, in my opinion, over time shall become an iconic cover because there's no doubt in my mind that Null is coming back, right? So this book got up to as high as $500 at one time. And it continues to just, it maintains, it has decreased, like I said, but it still has value. And I'm sure it'll take off again. Fair market value for the raw copy with this book right now is roughly about $111, about $111. And you can't really go wrong with that. I remember going to Comic-Cons, seeing this book for $199 for the raw copies. What was it? It got up to like $399 for graded. I was seeing $399 for graded copies, and it has come down. So prices dropped due to a number of 9.8s being added to the census, but nonetheless, it's still PC worthy, right? So you can get your hands on this iconic book for not a lot of money, right? This is going to be a great book. And definitely the story was just phenomenal. So Donny Cates really nailed this one when he was putting it together. And that cover, man, that cover says it all, yo. That's definitely fire. All right. So that Venom issue number 3, man, is definitely PC worthy. Falling. He's falling. And I love it. Yeah, and I'm making sure I'm covering my books as I put them back because I don't want to scratch any of them. I don't want to get anything on them, right? So this next one that I'm going to share with you guys, excuse me, this is an Image book, right? This is another Todd McFarlane masterpiece. Spawn issue number 1. This is going to always be a great comic to add to your PC, right? This is going to always be a comic worthy of the PC. I mean, whether up or down, expensive or inexpensive, like Spawn issue number 1, great character, great world development, like world building. This is just a great comic book to have, right? So it doesn't matter, you know, that there's so many of them out there. Definitely one worth having in your PC. I'm proud to have this comic book in my PC. The average 9.8 will run you roughly probably about $141 for this particular book. But still, that's not bad, man. That is not a bad price to pay for a CGC 9.8. The 9.9 got up to as much as $9,995 at one time, right? Yeah, so there is a 9.9 in this book. That's the high target book, high value target for this particular book, right? And it's a lovable book, man. Like, no matter how many times I come across it in my PC, it still grabs me like it did for the very first time. Those colors continue to be bright and vibrant and just eye-popping, man. It just really, really attracts you. You probably hook yourself a near mint raw copy for about $20 in this book, right? And that's not bad at all. $20 for some Todd McFarlane greatness, not goodness, greatness, right? Spawn issue number 1 is always going to be PC worthy, whether it's up or down, all right? There you go. That's just a beautiful copy. Yeah. Oh, man. One more time for Mr. McFarlane. Look at that. Yeah. One more time for the Todd Fowler. Good stuff. Good stuff. And one of the beautiful things about, you know, it was hard moving all these comics into my new space, right? But one thing about it is it gave me an opportunity to go back and pull books that I had not really thought about in quite some time. These books are what I call, these are those forgotten gems, right? You know, we get so caught up in the hype of all these other comic books that everybody's talking about and everything's spiking because of a movie and because of whatever reasons. But this is what the love of the hobby is mainly about for me, is to, like, you know, be able to go back and just thumb through my PC and find books that and relive that nostalgia of what I felt when I first saw them. Like, what normally draws you to a comic book, right? You see that cover, and that cover is so interesting and enticing that you grab it, you open it up, and you start reading. You stand there in the comic shop. I don't even know if they still allow that. You know, some comic book stores you go in, they don't even want you to read in the comic shop anymore. They don't want you to read through the book. But I would normally start reading the comic and be like, oh, yeah, this one's coming with me. I'm taking this one home with me. I got to finish this up, right? And then you would talk to the guy behind the counter about, hey, listen, you know, I'm about to buy this comic. How do I subscribe to this? You know, I want to get the other story arcs that come out after this. And then that's when you would start opening up your file, man. And then you would definitely subscribe to particular issues, man, so you didn't miss out on any. So that's what the hobby is like for me, man. It's like just reliving that nostalgic moment where you fell in love with that book, with the hobby, with the collecting of the comic books. You know, it didn't turn out to be collecting until later on when you realize, holy smokes, I got a bunch of comics, right? And then the whole value thing and the money thing came along later. but I'm not going to say it ruined the hobby, but it has enhanced the hobby and added more layers to it. And that's what I love about this, right? That I'm able to share my love of the hobby with you guys, man, and just keeping it good vibes, right? Because we got so much negativity going on in the world that we don't need anymore, and I refuse to add to it. You know, so I just love what we do, man. I love the hobby. I enjoy my comics, and it is what it is. Now I'm not gonna let anybody take that from me or you. You know. All right, enough with the silliness. But hear this one. Check this one out. I have to see this character on the screen, right? I need to see this character on the screen because I was at a movie theater, right? My wife and I, we were out at the movie theater. And I watched a young man, he was in the mall, right? And he was reading this comic book in the mall. And I'm like, what's that you reading? But, you know, I see a fellow comic book reader. And I say, what's that you reading, young fella? He was like, oh, this is so-and-so and so-and-so. I'm like, really? I'm like, is it that good that you're reading it in the mall? He was like, man, this is a dope issue. He was like, yo, he was like, so do you read? I was like, yeah, I love comics. He was like, man, well, you don't have this one? He's like, oh, you got to have this one. So I went and picked it up, that book that young man was reading, and I never got his name, but I really appreciated him for directing me to this comic. But we're talking about Thanos, issue number 13. This is the first appearance of the Cosmic Ghost Rider. And the cover art is by Jeff Shaw, right? So I was sleeping on Thanos. So I went back to get this particular book. The book that he was reading was Thanos issue number 13. I could not find it. I could not find it. So I basically went back and started reading from issue number 1 until eventually I was able to get my hands on issue number 13, which is this book right here. And I read it and I was just blown away. And I was like, wow. And I'll never forget that young man for turning me on to this particular comic. This is another Donny Cates masterpiece, right? So this is right about that time where I really started respecting Donny Cates' writing capabilities, because he's able to maneuver between story arcs and things of that nature while allowing us to stay engaged, man. Like, he keeps us engaged with the way that he writes. So this is one of those books that I was really taken back by. This book has seen the heights of about $870 for the CGC 9.8. This is another one of those forgotten gems that I'm always keeping my eye on. A raw copy of this book last sold for like $40, all right? So in my opinion, that's not bad. Fair market value for the 9.8 is $160 now. All right, so this is a good book to get your hands on if you don't have it. But I do encourage you that before you buy this particular copy, go back and read from the beginning. Start from issue number 1 and work your way up to getting issue number 13, man, because you're going to really enjoy the story that Donny Cates is putting together. There are 885 9.8s on the Go Collect census now. So not really a rare book in a sense, but still not a book that you want to sleep on either, right? Definitely not a book you want to sleep on. Cosmic Ghost Rider. I look forward to seeing this book on the screen. Happy to have it in my PC. Definitely one of my favorite comics, and I'm happy to share that with you. Right? Definitely. Jeff Shaw on the cover art, everybody. Yep, Jeff Shaw on that cover. All right, guys. What do we got next? Oh, okay. So now these last 2 books that I'm gonna show you guys, from in this particular lineup. So these last 2 books that I'm gonna show you, are fun books, but both for different reasons, right? So the first one I'm gonna show you is Daredevil, Daredevil, Man Without Fear, issue number 111, right? And this is the first appearance of Lady Bullseye. All right. First of all, I'm in love with this shadowy red mist fog type color cover artwork on this book, right? It's in my opinion, this is a really, really dope cover, and that's what drew me to this book. But also the possibilities of seeing Lady Bullseye, right? Beautiful cover. Seems like a beautiful lady. And in today's climate, it could happen, right? When you talk about swapping out gender for characters, there's a strong possibility instead of seeing the male Bullseye, we could possibly see the female Bullseye. So I'm always open to that swap out as long as it's done properly. Now, only 128 universal grades on the census, right? So fairly kind of sort of rare, right? But there's only 9.8. So that's not bad at all. So definitely happy to have this in my collection. And again, a lot of these books that I'm showing you, they're not graded, but if I were to send them in and get them graded, you know, I already have a pretty much a decent understanding of where these books would come back in graded form, which I'm not too concerned with because my collection holds value to me in its own way anyway, right? So if you wanted to get your hands on a CGC 9.8, fair market value for this particular book would probably be somewhere around $375 for the 9.8. Minor key is what I call it a minor key, but it has major possibilities. And that's why I like this book. Minor key with major possibilities. It's just a dope cover. She hanging on the side of the building, man, like, you know what I mean? Looking real strategic, very determined. So that's one of the reasons this book is in my collection, man. Great read also. So Daredevil issue number 111, first appearance of Lady Bullseye. Keep your eye on it. Minor key, major possibilities. All right. Now this final book I'm going to show you is not only a milestone book, right? But it's also a cover lover's delight, man. When I talk about a cover lover's delight, I'm talking about a cover that you see and you're just like blown away by it. Like you gotta have this book just because of the cover. Never mind what's on the inside. We'll get there when we get it home. But the cover alone takes you. It's like, it's a must-have, right? So this last book I want to share with you is one of my most favorite books. Expensive, not at all. Not at all. None of the least. Not expensive at all. Because the value that my collection has to me is not about what all my comics are worth, but how I feel about them, how they make me feel. And I love this comic book cover, man. Like, so allow me to introduce to you, allow me to show to you my Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 800, my Gabriel Delgado 1 in 200 Virgin variant. And look at that right there. Is that not a fly cover or what? This joint is straight gas, man. Gabriel Delgado 1 in 200 Virgin Incentive variant. Now, keep in mind, when this book was released, it was such a hot event that, you know, comic shops ordered a lot of books to get these incentives. So that was for the cover alone, you know. So this book was hot coming out the gate, man. 282 9.8s, which is not really bad considering that, you know, man, this is a standalone cover. Look at this, man. Look at the artwork. Look at the depiction of Spider-Man. I've never seen such a strong depiction of Spider-Man such as this one, man. This is like, and it just blew me away, man. So, and remember at one time, like, so this book was super hard to get in high grade because of the little tick that came in at the bottom off the printing, you know, off the printing press or whatever it was that cut the comic book. So like both the top and the bottom, like they had these real Well, my top is pretty decent. My bottom one is pretty decent too, but you can still see it there. So this book was still pretty hard to get in like a high grade because it was a thick book, right? It was a thick book. So I guess it was bulging out the seams, so to speak, right? So this book was difficult to get your hands on because of that corner edge, man, being so noticeable, man, being so visible, right? So, but if a 9.8, and this is in my opinion, if a 9.8 ever appeared, if a 9.8 ever surfaced with this book right here, man, it would take this book to new heights, man. It would really take this book to new heights because this is such a fire cover, right? Fair market value has it resting at $450 for the 9.8 at the moment, but that could change any day, right? Asking prices on eBay for Raws are still $169. That is such a fire cover and by far one of my most favorite comics in my collection, man. And I protect this with my life. Yo, I love this cover, man. This is such an awesome cover, right? And I love how the mylar just make it stand out. It just pops, man. It's just such dope artwork. I only wish that I could draw like this, man. That is nice, huh? Super nice. Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 100. The Gabriel Del Otto, 1 in 200. Virgin Incentive variant, man. Whew. The web, man. Look at the web, bro. Come on, man. Look at the webbing. Come on, man. Straight gas, yo. Join the straight gas. Right? Yeah. So those are some comics, man, that might have declined in value, but are still PC worthy, right? So if you see them out there, or if you're, because I know those are going to be difficult for you to find on comic shelves and in back issues. They may be behind the counter on somebody's wall or something. So if you see them out there in the wild, man, you may want to take a second look at them. You know, ask, the person at the counter, pull it off the wall so you can give it a gander, take a close look at it. Check the flaws on there, see if there's, some of them may have some flaws. But again, do a little research. Know your comic books. Know what you're looking for. Know the purpose of the book. Know the story arc. Know the artist. Know the writer. Here's one thing I love from a comic book. I love a comic book that you could actually read it and understand the time and the energy that the creators put into the comic, right? And to me, that's where the value lies. Like, this is when I have a book and I A, am intrigued by the cover, B, open the story and read it, C, then when I'm done and I go back and be like, oh, it was done by so-and-so, so-and-so. They really put time into this book, right? So this is not a rushed issue or whatever the case may be. It's not a rush story arc, man. It was very well thought out, very well put together. Those are the books that hold most value in my heart, right? So it is what it is, man. Again, it's a Saturday morning. I'm just chilling in the room. Good vibes only. Me and you. Right? All right, so look, I'm going to show you guys some comic books that I'm going to pull out from my collection. I'm going to pull out some hot covers, right? And I'm just going to show them off to you, and then you guys can decide what you want to do from there. All right, so I got a nice big book down here. I'm a big fan of Sabrina, so here's Sabrina, the Teenage Witch Anniversary Spectacular. Right? Definitely happy to have that. And I'm going to go through them, right? So I'm not going to take up much of your time with them. I'm just going to run through them and show you some hot covers. Let me see what else I got down here. Let's see. Bear with me. Okay, here's a comic Minor Threats, issue number 1. Here's a comic that was brought to my attention by way of Jim's Comics when he was highlighting this book, and I thought this book was super dope too. Hopefully, they continue to write about this particular tag team right here. It's a dope team of heroes. Minor Threats, awesome. It had a few variants that went with it too. They are. You got the gold variant, which I thought was pretty dope. And then you had the other variant. Right? So Minor Threats. Shout out to my boy Jim Comics. Definitely gotta give him credit for bringing that to my attention. All right, so I made sure I grabbed those. What else we got here? Okay, here we are. When the movie was coming out, I was like, well, I'm not going to go crazy over first appearance, but they put out a great movie variant. And this is Black Adam, the Justice Society Files, Hawkman, issue number 1. And I just thought that was an awesome depiction of The Rock and the Black Adam, the movie variant. With Hawkman in there. So just a dope cover. We also have here's a beautiful cover, man, that I always enjoy looking at. It's a big box. So I'm going to have to set these around for a second. Put them here. They'll stay there for us. All right, so here is Batman, Superman, World's Finest, issue number 4. I love this mashup. Definitely fire mashup. Batman, Superman, World's Finest, issue number 4. Here is a beautiful cover. DC versus Vampires, issue number 8. Batgirl on her ish. There she goes. Batgirl. Beautiful cover. Had a couple copies of that one. Very nice. Oh, here's one done by my guy Liber Mejio. Bergimo, whatever. I can't pronounce his name, but yo, he killed this one. Action Comics 1046. Bermejo. There it is. It's hot, hot, hot. Fuego, fuego, fuego. Definitely. Again, just beautiful covers that I like adding to my collection, right? Remember, I've always told you guys that I have a section of my collection just dedicated to beautiful covers, right? And here's one right here. New Champions of Shazam, issue number 1. Just beautiful covers. Here's another one of Poison Ivy. This is Poison Ivy, issue number 3. And hanging out with you guys like this takes me back to the beginning of when we first started the channel. Man, just being able to just show some comic books and enjoy covers, man, with you guys. That's what I really love, man. Wow. See, again, just the nostalgia of it all, man. Just the feeling that came along with enjoying the hobby. Man, that's beautiful. Leave a comment down below, man. Which cover do you think would be one of your favorite covers? Here's one that I loved, right, when it came out. And this was the Swamp Thing, issue number 15. And this was the all green, I call it. Just a headshot. Really love this comic. Let's see. Does it fit? Let's see, is that right? It could be Swamp Thing. Dope. I caught a couple copies of that too. Actually, looks like I got quite a few of them. Yeah, I really like that cover. Here's a cover, Flashpoint Beyond, and this is issue number 4. Nice. Nice. I just like that rough texture. Very, very nice. A couple copies of that. Oh, here's one. Okay. Crisis on Infinite Earth, right? This is issue number 7. I gotta go through that. I gotta change this bag. Yeah, and as you can see, I think this one, it has a $35 price tag on it, but because of where I got this book from, I got it for half that price. Yep. Yes, I remember where I got those from. And in that particular comic book shop, when I go there, the owner, Wayne, he really takes great care of me. Whenever I buy back issues, he gives them to me for half off to asking price. Crisis on Infinite Earth, and this is issue number 1. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and I'm glad I'm going through this box with you guys because I'm going to have to go through it again and move some of these comics around. Right? Here's Harley Loves the Joker, issue number 1. Yes. A Match Made in Hell. Those two. Big Harley and Joker fan. Deceased. Right? And this is issue number 1. Here's another hot cover. I believe I gave one of these away. These I gave in one of them. Yep. This is War of the Undead Gods, issue number 1, the Francesco Mattina variant. Right? I gave one of these away. This was a giveaway. Dope cover. I've got some things. Francesco, when I first met him, I met him in New York. I believe it was at Midtown Comics, over by Pace University. I went to have some things signed by him, but I didn't realize that he didn't speak very much English. Nah, Francesco Mattina, man, but pretty cool dude. And he took a lot of pictures with me, and he signed a lot of comics for me. So I was extremely grateful for that. Shout out to Francesco Mattina for being who he is, man. All right, here's one of my favorite covers done of. This is an homage. This is DC Vampires, DC versus Vampires Killers. DC versus Vampire Killers, right? And this is that Todd McFarlane homage. Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Here's another comic that I was excited by. I like the artwork on this. This is one of those die-cast variances that if you hold it back, you can see the image of Batman on the cover, right? In the shape of all those bats. Can you see that? Leave a comment down below if you can see Batman's face in that image. But I like that artwork. I thought that was just a good idea. Great marketing promotion scheme for that one. What else do we got here? Oh, okay. Here's one. Here's a foil variant, and this is, I believe this is DC. This is fail safe. Foil variant, fail safe. That's super fly right there. That was a good read too. DC, what was that? I want to say it was Batman. Do I have it here? Batman 126. Oh, this is fire. This is Inyuk Lee. Definitely a hot cover. Here's one. Flashpoint Beyond issue number 5. This is Joker's daughter. Sadistic. Sadistic. Love it. Harley Quinn issue number 21 with that Killing Joke variant. Oh yeah, definitely. All right, and I'll show you one more before we go. One of my favorite covers right here. Batman One Bad Day, Two-Face issue number 1. Lava. That joint is straight lava. Man. Talk about it. Talk about it, baby. That joint is sick. All right? Okay, everybody. That's it. I hope you have enjoyed this list for today, right? Just some comics that I wanted to show you guys that have declined in value but are still PC worthy, and also share a little bit of what I have in my collection with you. I still got a lot of books that I got to go through and rearrange them and put them in the proper order, get them categorized, get them labeled, and get some insurance on them. Yeah, definitely got to do that, because I still got my grails, I got my graded books, I still have my ungraded major keys also. So just a lot of movement going on, but I just wanted to share a little time with you guys outside of your top 10 list. All right, so I hope you guys appreciate that, because I appreciate you. I'm your boy C3. Thanks for hanging out with me. It's good vibes only, always and forever. It ain't gonna be nothing else. Tell a friend to tell a friend about YouTube's best kept secret, your boy C3, Keep It Comics. I'll see you guys next video. You know what it is. Later, Gators.